You're now listening. Yo, Tap In Radio.
With one tap, you're in. Only on Tap In Radio.
I'm your hostess with the mostest, Kristen Ayana, and tonight we're going to be doing our regular media topics as well as interviewing Josh Waters, and I just played his newest track, Brown Skin, and I must say, I really was feeling it because I'm a brown skin girl, so I guess that is a little biased there, but I'm super duper excited to be chatting with him tonight, and yeah, and also it's the best month in like the whole entire world. Like we finally made it to December, and I just feel like I gotta do a big shout out to all my Sagittarius, big Sag gang. You know the vibes, and I'm just really excited because it's Sag season. Yeah, my birthday is coming. Okay, my birthday is December 10th, which is next week, Thursday. And let me tell y'all something. I'm accepting all the gifts, all the love, and anything that y'all want to give me. I'm definitely here for it. So, I just feel like what better sign, could there possibly be than a Sagittarius? Like, I just want everyone this month to just tell me, what did a Sagittarius do to you that has just impacted your life in an amazing way? Because we are the greatest sign to ever walk the planet Earth. But enough of that. So I got DJ Bam in the studio. He trying to talk about some whatever. He's a Gemini, most hated Nobody likes y'all. So, but my best friend is a Gemini. So, shout out to my bestie Westy. But before we get into, the interview with Josh, first things first, I have to do my media topics, right? Because there is always something going on in this crazy world, and 2020 has definitely proven that. So, let me tell y'all. So, G Herbo and his crew have been accused of using stolen IDs and basically committing fraud for more than $1 million. Now, it has been said that G Herbo was looking at some serious charges, after being tied to the federal fraud case. It's Herb, his music promoter, and other members of his crew who are being accused of using the stolen IDs. And, apparently the things that they purchased were villas in Jamaica for vacation, exotic car rentals, private jets, and I don't know. Listen, this whole time we thinking these rappers are making an honest living, and they are skimming. So, what do y'all think? Shout out to everybody in my live right now. What do y'all think about that? I mean, it is a pandemic. Do what you gotta do. Just don't get caught. But honestly, it's really sad though because he definitely can be facing some serious charges if, he doesn't get this sorted out. So, I don't know, G Herbo. Sorry to that man, but it ain't looking too bright. That's crazy though. I just feel like it's been a rough 2020. We've been seeing so many celebrities in a lot of bull lately. Speaking of bull, Casanova is also apparently, the feds are looking for him. It's DJ Bam's reactions to the stories for me. They running it up during quarantine, okay? Yeah, they online preaching about no matter what, make sure you get that bag. We know how you're getting your bag, and listen, you're going to jail. But Casanova is basically tied to, a case for basically trafficking crack cocaine. Yeah, and all throughout New York, and basically he can face up to mandatory minimum of 10 years for doing this. So, damn, but I really liked Casanova. I really liked that song that he had. How it go again? Yeah, it's 2 a.m. and yeah, that song was good, but it has Tory Lanez in it, so don't do that. This is a Megan Thee Stallion stan account. Tory Lanez, boo. I don't rock with him, and that's on period. And whoever is mad about that, then I barely even listen to Chris Brown. That's the crazy part. I don't think everybody gonna be like, nothing. First of all, Tory Lanez got on Clubhouse, which bring me to my next point. But Clubhouse is basically like this new app. For those of y'all who don't know, it's in beta. It's an invite only app, and you could join different chat rooms. So, when you join the chat room, you could either be like an audience member, or you could be like, if you create the room, you can be a moderator, and then you can have like people come up on stage to speak. So, and it's pretty cool. I've been on it for a month. I've been on it for like a month now. Um, and it's dope because like they have like a bunch of like networking chats. So like there's like this journalist one that I was in at one point. There was actually like this radio one too that I was in, and the guy from ESPN, that does like the voiceover for ESPN was in there, and he's like a really like successful radio host. So it's cool, like it's cool networking, and then it's also like fun if you just want to talk to people and, meet new people, I guess. I mean, it is a pandemic. I don't really know who you're meeting, but things of that nature. So, moral of the story is, though, celebrities are on Clubhouse, and Clubhouse isn't like in other apps because there is no, like, shout out to DJ Joker in a live. Okay. Clubhouse is like not as different from other social media apps because there isn't regulations per se. So like, if you're a celebrity, you're verified on Twitter and Instagram. Like Clubhouse doesn't have that. Like everybody is literally on the same playing field. Like you have a regular profile, you don't get no verified check if you're a celebrity, none of that. So with that being said, like it'd be a bunch of people in different rooms, celebrities included. So 2 nights ago, somebody made a room on Clubhouse, and the title of it was, "Should Mulatto Change Her Name?" So for those of you who don't know, Mulatto is a rapper, female rapper out of Atlanta, Georgia. Her name is Mulatto, but sometimes she go by Big Latto. And basically there has been like a lot of talk about her name and like if she should change it or not. And, basically saying that it's problematic. So the thing is, during the BET Hip Hop Awards, there was a press conference, and, Mulatto was a part of the press conference, and, one of the journalists, shout out to Amber, because I actually follow her on social media, and she's pretty nice. She asked Mulatto, she was like, basically asking her about the name, and Mulatto, like, kind of hinted that she was thinking of changing it. So then that has been like kind of the trending topic this week. And then, the Clubhouse group is created now, and it's a whole big chat room on if she should change her name or not, why people think it's problematic, because, it is a slur, things of that nature. So Mulatto enters the chat, but she's not speaking. So basically with Clubhouse, you have like the moderators, the speakers, and then you have the audience. So Mulatto is in the audience, and they know that. One thing led to another, and then all I know, y'all, is that I saw Mulatto's manager come up to speak, and he was very upset because he was just basically saying like no matter what they do, whether she changes it or not, he just feels like they're trying to come for her. And I kind of get his gist because in the same stance I've been seeing recently more than ever on Clubhouse, people are making these groups, and with the titles, it's like the title was, "Why would you name yourself Mulatto?" So already her team is going to come in there defensive. Because just of the name of the chat alone. Because before you enter a chat, it's like you can only see the name and like the people that are in it, but you don't know like what it necessarily is about. So they was not happy, y'all. And it's crazy because the same thing, similarly enough, also happened like on Sunday with Kevin Hart. They made a chat. It was like, the title was, "Is Kevin Hart even funny for real?" And then Kevin Hart came in there. And then there was a whole debacle. So, I don't know. Will Clubhouse be the end-all, be-all? I don't know, y'all. Tory Lanez was in the Clubhouse chat, and they was lighting him up. He was getting dragged. I was in there. Sorry to that man. And his friend tried to defend him. And then someone was like, well, to be honest, I don't really know because I don't have friends that shoot people. I was just like, yo, what the heck? But I do like Clubhouse. It's a cool app for real. Like I really think it's cool. But I want to know DJ Bam's thoughts on Clubhouse. Do you think that it's an app that's gonna be, the next big thing? Do you think?
No, it's just gonna be the next shade room. That's all.
You think it's gonna be the next? But I feel like people are really networking.
They're networking, but like you said, all the titles you done named is all negative. So it's a bash app. Nobody gonna want to be a part of that. It's for clout. That's not gonna last long. It's not.
I think the issue with Clubhouse too is that it really started as like just a tech-based app, and it was like tech-based, like industry people But now it's like getting more to the general public, but it still is invite only.
Yeah, it's basically the same way. You know what I mean? I hate to say this, but you was young.
Right.
Same way as Facebook started. At one point, Facebook.
Yeah, you had to get invite.
Facebook was only for college student.
Yeah.
Like literally only college student. I remember being in high school, and my man was in college. He was like, "Yo, yeah, I got a Facebook," and we were like, "What the fuck is that?" And then when we tried to sign up for it, it literally was like, "No, you cannot." 'Cause at the time, Facebook used to ask you what college you go to.
And you guys had a school email.
Yep, all types of shit. So, but that Clubhouse shit, nah, forget.
Have you heard about Clubhouse?
I ran across it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even gonna sit here and act like I ran across it and I went to go download it. No, I have not downloaded, but I ran across it. But now hearing what you're saying, is this another fucking app I'm gonna sit there and watch?
No, but it's I don't know. Like it's cool. Like
no, but what I'm saying is, it probably is cool, legit, everything. But it's sad that it takes negativity for it to get attention.
But you know what's crazy though? I think from my end, it was already getting attention before the negativity. But that's because I'm a real big Twitter user, and I'm learning that a lot of people don't be on Twitter.
Yeah, that's just like a lot of people. Some people still feel like we should target Facebook. And
sorry, girl, I'm not doing that.
And like I said, a lot of people, that's not where their crowd is at. Like Facebook is still good. Don't get it twisted.
Right.
But like I was telling somebody the other day, I'm like, yo, that Facebook wave, how you think it used to be, is not the same no more. Like
it's not. I mean, I can only speak for my demographic and my age group, but
it's not even that. My age group also. Like I got
my mom used Facebook.
But is your mom on it like that? I bet she's probably on Instagram more than Facebook.
Oh no! See, my mom, I just made her Instagram.
All right, see that
so
don't count.
she go on it, but like no, she's like she is Facebook. Like she be watching this YouTuber, and this other lady that's in Jamaica that runs this charity and does this videos and all this.
I'm talking about legit. Like I know, like my mom's on Instagram more than Facebook.
Really?
Yeah. So it's like people. You have some people who do keep up with the generation and the times, and you got some people that keep up with the trends. Mm-hmm. Like I got a Twitter. I fucking hate Twitter.
Why, yo? My sister hates Twitter, and Twitter is so good. Like
but I'm gonna tell you this real quick, and not to even dwell on this. I came to a conclusion at the time when Twitter was popping. Once again, like, got tired of fucking typing everything. Now you can just post. You can just post a picture now. So Twitter also, this is my acknowledgments of it. Mm-hmm. Twitter is for people who like to sit there and type. Just like some people I know people who like Twitter who hate Instagram. Oh, I'm not going to post my every move, but then you go on Twitter and type your every move.
Nah, but on Twitter, like, we really be, like, Twitter is so more interactive, in my opinion, than Instagram because, like, we really talk. Like, people on Twitter really talk.
But that's the thing. That's what I'm trying to say, too. Like, it's like, I look at it like this. Everybody have their own lane. My more of my following, my interaction is Instagram. Like, I'm not going to sit here in front. Like, I don't even give a damn. I think I only got like 400-something followers on Twitter, and I don't even care. Like, I don't even care about that.
I mean, your followers don't matter on Twitter.
Nah, but that's what I mean. At one point, it did matter.
But Josh just got in our live. And I want y'all to, let me know what you prefer. Twitter, Instagram, or Clubhouse, if you're on Clubhouse. Clubhouse. It is not for the weak. I'll tell you that much. If I was a celebrity, I would not be on Clubhouse. So we are now adding Josh to the live. It says connecting. Hi, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. Thank you so much for joining me tonight.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I just want to say for the people listening or joining the live that this is the Black Talk Radio IG Live with Josh. I'm going to be chatting with him tonight. So first things first, can you tell us where you're from and what made you start getting into music?
So I'm from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, by way of Atlanta, Georgia. And I grew up in like a musical family. My brother was a musician. My mom was a vocalist. So it was just around me so much. And I just gravitated towards it, I guess. Yeah.
Okay. So you said you was born in Mississippi, but you grew up in Atlanta?
No. I live in Atlanta.
You lived in
Born
Atlanta.
and raised, Hattiesburg, Mississippi. I moved to Atlanta March would be 4 years ago.
Oh, okay. So what was it like growing up in Mississippi?
In terms of what exactly?
Just like the atmosphere, like stuff to do, like, cause I'm from Jersey, so when I hear like people that come from Mississippi, I always wonder like, what is it like? Like, I think real like Southern, like boring.
Nah, it's definitely super Southern. The hospitality is real. I always, when people ask me that, that's why I always say, like, in terms of what I feel like people, the perception or how they perceive Mississippi is the only way that they see it on TV. You know what I mean? Mad country, dirt roads and stuff. And which it does exist out there, but it also exists in Georgia, man. So it's cool.
Right.
The people are usually pretty genuine. I love the fact that I'm from Mississippi, so it was cool, man. It was cool.
Okay. And would you say like growing up in Mississippi has like influenced your creativity in any way?
Yeah, 100%. So Big Crit, are you familiar with Big Crit?
Yes.
Big Crit is my favorite artist of all time. So he's a Southern rapper, Southern MC. And for the most part, he does a really good job at embodying what it's like to be an artist from home and what all of the Southern grit, the cars, you know what I mean? The playerness. Like I mentioned the word being genuine. It's really more or less, it's that going through, man. So yeah.
Okay. So now I want to get into your latest single. You just dropped it today, Brown Skin. So talk to us about, like the creative process behind that and things of that nature.
So Brown Skin Love, I don't know if you're aware, but I'm releasing 52 records this year. I've been releasing a song every Wednesday since January 1st.
Actually goes into my question that I'm going to ask you.
Okay, that's good. Shout out. So Brown Skin Love was, shout out to my brother Eli. Shout out to my artist developer, Misha Fair. We was just having a session. Actually, Eli and I started on the idea first. We're just in the session having a conversation about melanin and women. He's from New York. I'm from Mississippi, so the conversation was actually interesting in terms of how we felt and perceived this topic, I guess. But it was just me more or less in a collaborative effort expressing my appreciation for women of color.
Okay, dope. And Black girl.
Come on,
this is Black
you
Talk
fit the
Radio,
description.
So I really did appreciate that track. So you mentioned that you are dropping a song every Wednesday. So I want you to tell me a little bit about that. How'd you come up with that idea, and what is the workload like to do that?
It's honestly, so starting with the workload, the workload is so much more than I think any of us from my team imagined it would be. Like it's so much, and I'm thankful for everybody who has worked with me on this because I wouldn't have been able to do it by myself. You know what I mean? So I'm signed to an independent label out in Atlanta. I'm signed to a producer by the name of Willpower. And when I started with him, I started with an artist development program, which was 6 months. I would come to the studio every day at 10 a.m. There's a gym there with trainer. I would work out from 10 to 11. It's a shower there, so I would go straight to the shower. Okay. After that, I would go get in an hour lesson, a vocal lesson. After that, I might eat or something, and then I jump right into the studio at like 3 o'clock, and I was recording from 3 until. And so at the end of 2019, we had all of this music, but we didn't feel like we had the sound or a body of work per se. So it was like, what do we do with these records? And we didn't have 52. We may have had like 30-something songs. And my big homie, Will, was like, we putting out a song every week next year. And I'm like, bet, all right. So I was on board. But like I say, I don't think either one of us was aware of just how much work was going to go into it. Shout out to Tahoe 404. she actually did the marketing coming up with the whole card deck spill. So it's 52 cards
Right.
in the deck.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? 4 quarters in the music industry, 4 suits in the card deck also, man. So we kind of just played the whole release schedule off a deck of cards.
Right. No, I think that's really dope for real. And it really shows your
Respect.
dedication as an artist to really have
Yeah,
completed, that much track. So you mentioned that you are signed to an independent label in
yeah.
Atlanta. So I want to know, like, how did that come about? And, what has having a team, what has that been
hmm
like for you as an artist? And, how has that helped you?
Yeah, so it came about, like I mentioned earlier, Big Crit. I, being from Mississippi, is super ironic. Crit's younger brother and my current manager, John Griggs, they both were managing me at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I ended up just building an organic relationship with Big Crit. He worked on my first album, so forth and so on. Well, Big Crit has an album entitled Forever's a Mighty Long Time.
Mm-hmm.
And the producer who I'm signed to was executively producing that album with Crit.
Oh.
And so this was before I moved to Atlanta. I was out here visiting, and I went to a Crit session, and Willpower just so happened to be there. I had this single that I was getting ready to release with Smoke DZA, and they let me play it in the session, and everybody was hyped and geeked over it, and that kind of was how we got introduced to one another.
Right.
Well, 2 years later, I was getting ready to release it or start recording on my next project, and I wanted a new environment to record in. And I remember one of my partners, he was like, "Yo, Willpower just opened up a studio. You should book some time over there."
Okay.
So I did, and the energy, man, was like nothing I had ever experienced before, especially being in Atlanta. You go to the studio out here, it's trapped out, niggas got choppers and shit everywhere. Like
Oh God, I
it
can
get
imagine.
crazy, and I understand it, so I'm not knocking it, but I'm an R&B singer. You feel me? So
Right,
it's like I need a
exactly.
different energy, a different vibe when I'm trying to create, and it just was so like they was burning sage and shit. Like it was
Ah,
very
it was your
it was
vibe.
it was my vibe, man. And so the engineer, shout out to Shay Renaissance, he kept going back and telling Willpower, like, "Yo, it's this kid who keep booking time here. You need to know about him." And one
Hmm.
day in the studio, we ended up crossing paths, and it was that double take, like, "Don't I know you?" And he was like, "Let's have a meeting." And when we had the meeting, his first question was, "Are you signed?" I'm like, "Nah." He was like, "What are you looking for?" And I was like, "Guidance." And so we courted each other for like 2 years, working with each other, and then I finally made a decision to sign with them. Yeah.
I think that's dope. I love how it was, very like natural and organic type of
Right.
vibe that you guys
Yeah. Yeah.
created, and then you guys got the opportunity to work with each other, and you now are signed.
Right.
So
Right.
you mentioned, like being in the studio, some things that you like and some things that you
Yeah.
don't like. So now I just want to know, what is it like being in the studio with you overall, and like what is your creative process like? I also
Yeah.
want to say, for anyone in the chat, if you guys do have any questions for Josh, feel free to leave them in the question box, because like I do try to go through questions. But yeah, now you can just tell us about your studio time
My
experience.
process.
Yeah.
So I don't work outside of doing music. So I'm literally in the studio at least 6 days out of 7.
Wow.
And yeah, for real. So
Are you in the
excuse
studio
me.
right now?
I'm sorry.
Are you in the studio right now?
I'm actually not at the studio. I opted out. I was gonna go back. I had a session earlier. What was that, at 12? I went and did a session at 12, and I spent a couple hours there and came home. So I'm actually at home in my room. Shout out. But
Okay.
my creative process, it differs, I guess. So with 52, because we had to put out a song every week,
Hmm.
the pace had to be like there. You know what I mean? You had to have these
Right.
records turned in. You had to have the mixing process, the mastering. It was so tedious that I feel like I didn't have the opportunity to really dig into each song and really do as much as I know that I'm capable of on certain records. Now,
Mm.
I don't feel like by no means that we lacked on
Hmm.
anything from that, but at the same time, now that I'm getting ready to go into album mode, this process will be a lot different than the one that I'm about to explain to you.
Right.
So in the process of me making 52, what typically would happen is I go in, whatever vibe or energy I'm feeling for the day. I'm signed to a production label. So there's a slew of producers
Mm.
for me to choose the energy from or vibe from. And we go in and we cook up. It usually starts with a conversation. I'm all about being organic and truthful. So even if the situation or circumstances wasn't one that I necessarily lived through, then through conversation, perhaps I can be inspired from and tell
Right.
someone else's story. You know what I mean? So it usually starts with a conversation. that leads to me writing a song about whatever my point of view may be on this topic. Or I had an experience the night before, come in and instantly try to regurgitate that. You know what I mean? So I go off of what I feel, man, and I don't fabricate that by no means. So if I don't feel it, I don't make it.
Right, and I think that's really important. I love that you said if you don't feel it, you don't make it, because I think as an artist, it's super duper important to stay true to you and
Yes.
organic to who you are. So you've made so much music within the past year. So I want to know, what would you say would be your favorite track and why?
What would be my favorite track?
Mhm.
Oh, that's so difficult. I gotta give you one out of 52.
All right, you want to do top
Uh,
5?
Top five. That's hard too, but that's better than one. So I'm gonna start with swinging.
Okay, I played
Um,
that on my show a couple weeks back.
Swinging is my jam, and I explain each one as I name them. So swinging is one of my tops because, man, as I am an R&B singer, I grew up on the Tanks, the Ericas, the Jasmines, the Jills, but
Mhm.
I love like my Outcasts and my UGKs and
Mm.
my Goody Mob. So swinging was my way as an R&B artist to showcase that and embody that fully without like stepping outside of the soulfulness that I bring to
Right.
records. You know what I mean? So swinging was that for me. Vegan was dope. That's one of my favorite. I'm pleased with how we was able to turn that record into what it turned into,
Okay.
because that was not what it was supposed to be. Like, what is the chorus was just a talking piece on the intro, and we like, wait a minute, that need to be the hook. So how that song came about is amazing to me. Can't Wait is my favorite, one of my favorites, because I'm big on respecting women.
Mhm.
So it was my way of having a sexual record or addressing a sexual topic, but in a respectful way
Mhm.
without having to degrade or diminish whatever it is that I feel women stand for to begin with. You understand what I'm
Right,
saying?
right, right.
And then just the same, because it was so nostalgic, just the feeling that it brings. And I would have to say, oh man, that's tough. Let's go with Dutch Masters because I
Okay.
love weed.
All right. So my question for you is, do you like roll up before a session, or what is that like?
So I'll be honest, man. If I had it my way,
Mhm.
I would roll up before every session.
Mhm.
If it's a creative writing session, I'm definitely rolling up. But I take my vocal care and health so seriously
Mhm.
that if I know that whatever recording I do tonight is intended on being the final cut or the cut that I'm getting mixed and mastered,
Right.
I flush myself out. So straight water. I might have a little sip or something, but for
Mhm.
the most part, yeah, nah. I try to keep my vocals as clear and clean as possible whenever I'm doing final cuts.
All right. I think that is good. You got some balance, you know? So I
Yeah,
love
got
that.
to, got to.
I love that. I love that. So now I want to know, you mentioned, some of the people that you're inspired by. You mentioned
Yeah.
the Evercas, the
Mm.
Tanks.
Mm.
So if you could work with any artist, who would it
Yeah.
be and why?
Man, that's a tough one. It's a couple. Right now, the first person that comes to mind, I really want to work with her. Um,
She's the sweetest.
yeah, she's amazing, man. When I think about the energy, the purpose, the light that I possess, and when I think about whatever calling, anointing that it is on her, I feel like together,
Mhm.
we would make just something dope. I think the synergy would really be there, man. So I would love to work with her. I would love to work with Don Tolliver.
Okay.
His vibe right now is crazy, and like I keep mentioning, like the Crits, the UGKs, Don Tyler's from Houston, Texas. So
Mhm.
when I listen to his music, there's a level of what UGK brought to me that I hear, but for like a present
Right, right, right.
space. You know what I mean? So I would love to work with Don Toliver and like Masego. I'm loving Masego right now.
Okay, yeah, I definitely think those are all some solid people. I think out of
Yeah,
all of them, I probably listen to her the most.
yeah.
But yeah,
Her nah, she's probably the most. I would want to work with her more than anyone else, just off of musicianship alone, bro. Honestly.
right, right, right. Yeah, shout out to her. She's really doing a lot right now. Really successful,
Yeah.
everything. So she doing her thing. So now I want to know, what would you say would be your favorite thing about being an artist and why?
My favorite thing about being an artist is being able to express myself freely and not having to, because we do this as artists,
Mm-hmm.
but in terms of caring too much about what other people think, we're sensitive about what it is we do. But as an artist, it's literally your job to express what other people can't. Um,
Mm.
or don't know how to per se. So I think my favorite thing about it is the fact that that's a gift, and the more and more I come into that and understand it, it get a little more fun for me in terms of. So for me, what I'm trying to do is figure out whatever it is that you may need to hear, whether it be a turn up vibe, whether it be a love song, whether it be that heartbreak record, placing myself in actual spaces to be able to connect with other people. And I think that's not something that happens when you go get food from someone. You can still connect with the person who makes your
Mm-hmm.
food, but it's not like listening to a song from somebody. So I think servicing people from the space in which we are supposed to as artists, that's probably my favorite part about all of this.
And I think that's dope. You know, you mentioned like how you talk about, you know, things in your music that you can relate to or that may have happened to people around you. So, what
Yeah.
would you say would be like one of the most difficult things that you've talked about in a song and why?
Uh, Depression.
Mm.
I would say depression. The song that I have that's out about your, goodness, the song that I have out about depression is the song that saved my life when I was going through depression. You know what I mean? And I would say for me, writing that, it literally was just a prayer. You know, it's
Mm.
entitled "The Gospel." The song is only available on SoundCloud. Never uploaded it to any other DSPs. But for me, that song was the one that probably was the most difficult to put on wax because, again, I felt like it was such a sacred conversation that I was having with God or the
Mm.
Most High, whatever you want to call him. So I'm like, did I really want to share this with other people? You know what I mean? Because when I do that, I'm putting it out here for the possibility if people don't like it, I have to read that. Or if
Right.
people, you know what I'm saying, aren't fans of what it is that I'm saying I feel or was going through, then people also have the space and liberty now to comment and say whatever it is they feel about that, bro. So I would say the gospel for sure.
And you know, I think it's, you know, important and really brave that you did take that leap and, you know, talk about depression because I feel like that's still a topic that is super taboo almost,
Yeah.
you know, for people to even discuss. So I just want to know though, like, what gave you that bravery to do that? Like, what was the voice inside of your head that was like, all right, upload this?
I would have to say, man, shout out to my mom. She did a really good job at. So my pops passed when I was 7. I was raised by my mother and my grandmother,
Mm-hmm.
and my mama did a really good job at making me express myself. Like
Okay.
she was crazy. You was gonna get a whooping for not talking. Like what's on your mind type shit. Really. So,
I
um,
think that's so
I
good though, because I think so many, you know, people grow up with like their parents not necessarily like emphasizing how important it is to like sit with your feelings or analyze your feelings.
yeah, yeah. But she did a great job at it, man. And I think when I think about my artistry, bro, like I turn up. Don't get me wrong. I probably turn up more than most, actually. But when I think about what I want to project and what I want to give to people, man, I need people. I need to die empty, and the only way for me to do that is to give out what it is that I feel. You know what I
Mm,
mean? Like the fame is cool. What comes with that is cool. But when it's all said and done, am I touching somebody? Because there's a
mm,
responsibility when you're an artist, bro. This shit comes with a responsibility, and
right.
whether you are aware of that or not, I am. So I think it's very important for me to have the conversations that the average dude, it's not deemed cool to talk about depression, so we don't. But if we make it a trend, then people will follow the trend. That's what people do. So for me as an artist, I just want to be able to create the space where guys feel comfortable with saying I'm hurt because it's
Right.
okay. We all feel these things, and also with women too. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm hurt. Let's talk about it. And I feel like we being pent up against each other, especially in the black community when it comes to the black male and the black female.
Right.
So for me as a man, a heterosexual male, like I'm what I would consider to be a king, yes, but I'm a real nigga in real life. You feel me? And
Right.
so I'm like, bro, look, I got goals in my mouth. I'm tatted. It's cool, nigga. Express yourself. You know what I mean? So I guess just knowing that I have a son also, I wanted to make us being able to say what we feel okay. You know what I'm saying? So Yeah.
I love that, and I think that's super important. I see everybody in the live; they like yes,
Like going
they
digital,
going
yeah.
crazy in the comments. But no, I definitely think that's really important, and the more men that like express themselves, it will be better for their mental health.
Yeah.
Because bottling up your emotions, for anyone listening right now, is not the wave. Okay,
Nah, bruh.
let it out. So I just
Nah.
wanted to thank you for that. So I
Okay.
have this segment on my show. It's
Okay.
called Quarantine Q&A, where
Okay.
I basically ask, my artists and my guests what their quarantine was like. Well, you're in Atlanta, so I'm not really sure if y'all ever had a quarantine because y'all do what y'all want.
Atlanta wide open.
Right. And I don't think y'all ever gonna shut back down. But
Yeah, I
for
don't think
the
so either.
little amount of time when Atlanta was on
Hmm.
lockdown, what was your initial thoughts? Like when they closed everything and it was like only essential businesses.
Yeah. I hate to use the word, but I was terrified. Honestly, I didn't know really what this meant. I didn't know. So yeah, I'm not gonna do that. Actually, yeah. So I was terrified. I didn't know what this meant. I just kind of went in a space of. It made me realize how much control we didn't have, bruh. So
Mm.
to keep myself from overthinking about some of the things that I felt years ago in terms of where the world was headed and kind of seeing it all kind of come to fruition. It was kind of wild to me. So I just chose to stay in the studio,
Okay.
literally, man. So I think right when this jump hit, we was getting ready to make the decision to stop with the 52 because we didn't think a lot of people were so afraid that they stopped coming to the studio. So we need to know that we had the manpower to effectively
Oh.
pull that shit off. Um, but it kind of just made me put my head down and keep running. So I just kind of stuck myself in the studio to kind of keep myself from wigging out about all this shit. Yeah.
And I think that was dope because here we are still in the pandemic, right?
Right, which is crazy, which is mad crazy, super crazy.
It's me thinking that COVID would be gone by now. LOL, jokes on me because it's still
Nah, I
here.
think you and a whole lot of other people in the world, it's crazy to me. Cause it's not just a United States thing, it's like a world pandemic. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
Um, So I think we all was just in a space, like I mentioned earlier, it's like, bro, the control we thought we had, because we all had plans this year. We
Right.
all, had this big, I remember how turned we was about the fact that it was 2020. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It was all about vision and shit like that. And it's like, yeah, all right, nigga. They snatched the carpet from up under us. Like, yeah, come here, hold up. So yeah,
Right.
man, it was interesting.
It really was, and still is. So now I want to know, during the quarantine when you weren't making music, what were some things that you were doing, maybe to just try to relax, things of that nature, while the world was on pause?
I spent a lot of time outside. So I'm
Okay.
a nature boy, but in that space, I felt like I needed to come on Snooze TV, Vision Still Clear, shout out. But I started spending more time outside, man. I felt like I needed to get back closer to the source.
Hmm.
So sunlight was one thing, man. Like walking outside barefoot, that was my biggest focus. Cause I'm like, yo, this shit is weird. Um, Talk to me, please, Most High God, for real. So that was really what I was doing, like trying to create solitude for myself and just create a sacred space so that I could still maintain my sanity because we didn't know. The
Yeah.
biggest thing that humans fear is the unknown because
Right.
our issue is that's another thing that it taught me, son. I'm sorry, I'm kind of going off on a
Nah,
tangent.
go ahead.
But it taught me to just kind of like, well, not even taught me, it forced me to relinquish the things that I can't control. You know what I'm saying? And so this COVID is a thing that we all can't control right now. So for me,
Hmm.
it's like, so what are you gonna do? You gonna come to like this sad ass state of mind because life is obviously still going on. People losing their jobs, everybody going through shit right now. So I didn't
Right.
want to do much complaining at all. Literally, I just started thinking of a solution for my space. You dig what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So yeah, that's how that went for Joshua.
And I think that's really important because it just shows that like no matter what, how important it is to just adapt to
Yeah,
what life kind of throws at you. So you
right,
said
right.
like you've been getting back with nature. So I want to know, like, have you ever gone hiking? What are your thoughts on that? Because I personally, like, I really like going hiking. Like that was really my
Nah,
thing.
have you ever? I'm gonna cut you off. I'm sorry. Um, yes, though I do go hiking. Atlanta. Have you ever been to Atlanta? That's what I was about to ask.
I've been to Atlanta once, but it was like I was in high school, so a while ago.
Okay, cool. Well, it's a lot of like mountains and like random little nature trails and waterfalls out here, and I actually spend the bulk of my free time there.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, if I don't have anything to do, if I got a free day, that's what a perfect day for me would be. Actually, out in nature near a body of water. So yeah.
Okay. And what would you say would be like your favorite thing about Atlanta? Because you've said you've been living there about like 4 years now.
Yep. My favorite thing about it is how black it is. It's black as
Hmm.
fuck out here. Um, and where I'm from, that's one thing about Mississippi. I will say, it's more of it's a crabs in a barrel mentality,
Mm.
which I don't blame any of my people for because it's all learned behavior. And I think we cracking the code in terms of how we got there, so that we can kind of reverse that psychology. But I, excuse me, I don't experience much of that here in Atlanta. Now you have people who be on the flugazi type of time, but
Hmm.
there are actually people here that are genuine and who are all about watching other people get to the next levels and helping them do that, man. So I would say that Atlanta is like the black mecca to me.
Wow, that seems dope. I honestly, I do want to visit Atlanta,
Yeah.
but it's the way y'all don't care about COVID for me.
I
Like,
mean, well, yeah, we got masks, and I got plenty. I got Josh Waters mask for you now. So if you come down here, I'm gonna get you straight.
y'all got masks, but every time I see somebody in Atlanta, y'all don't got no mask on, like in public places.
Yeah, well, like I say, I'm from Mississippi. I just live in Atlanta, so I can't speak for what everybody else do, But I guess I understand. I dig that.
Atlanta need to get it together because listen here. Mm-mm. So now my next question for you is during the quarantine, were you watching any shows or like reading any books? And if so, what were they?
I definitely was. I read a lot of. Let me not. I skimmed through a lot of books. I was gonna lie to your ass. I skimmed through a lot of books. I had this book called The Voice of Knowledge, which I did complete like two or three. The Voice of Knowledge. My manager and I, shout out to John Griggs, we actually reading The Secret Science of Black Male and Female Sex. I'm looking over because it's
Oh,
over there on my bed right now. That's my favorite one so far. And what's the other one? The Circle of Fire. It's low key like a book of prayers, but
oh,
it's super
okay.
dope. Um, as far as shows, I watched Money Heist. That had my
One of
attention.
my friends was obsessed with that show, but I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I was obsessed too. I watched it. I watched like the whole thing twice. I went back and watched Scandal again. Um, I went back. My manager's super big on like black exploitation movies, bro. So I actually was next to this nigga watching all of that, man. So we
Okay.
dug in that crate during this pandemic.
All
Yes.
right. So you didn't watch P Valley?
I did, but I was late to it. Like I just watched P Valley like last month type of time.
Right,
Yeah,
because I'm
cause
like,
what my thing with P Valley was I kept hearing people from Mississippi talk about it,
mm-hmm.
and when I went and watched it, I'm like, this is not how Mississippi is. But we'll take
Really?
it. No, it's not.
So, I don't know. I really like that show though, but it was
The
like
show is dope. The
it
show
was
is
making
dope.
me
Please pick my music.
anxious. It was
Please
making
pick
me
my music.
anxious. It was a lot going on.
Yeah, nah, the show is super, super dope. So this is why I like the show because I got people, friends who's from Memphis. P
Mm.
Valley to me is what Memphis, Tennessee is like.
Oh.
Not so much Mississippi. The closest part of Mississippi that reflects P Valley would probably be Jackson, Mississippi. Because we
Mm-hmm.
don't even really have strip clubs. Now we
Mm.
might have strippers come to your house, but we ain't got strip clubs like that, man. So yeah.
All right. So no,
Yeah.
Mississippi. Don't be going to Mississippi now thinking that you're gonna be pulling up to the paint
Oh
because
yeah, nah, yeah, nah. It's
it
not
ain't
happening.
happening. It's all fiction for everybody
Exactly.
listening right now. So
Yeah.
now we talked about a whole bunch of stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
now I just want to know what would you say would be your greatest challenge in being an artist and why?
My greatest challenge at being an artist, being an independent artist, I would say, um, that's tough. I don't know. My greatest challenge, and the reason why, because I think I had an answer at the tip of my tongue, but Spirit stopped me because I think I make that more of a challenge than being an artist does. So I would have to say, not getting so down on myself. I'm a Pisces, so I'm sensitive in real life.
Y'all emotional
as fuck.
My sister is a Pisces, and listen here, okay?
Hey, come on. So you already know what it is. So the fact that I'm already a sensitive individual when it comes to my craft, I'm extremely sensitive about it. So whereas another artist might take something that I might look at as an L and they would be elated to have that outcome, I'm always beating myself up like, nah, son, I could have did this or I could have did that, or you know what I mean? So I would say being a little more kind to myself because I'm doing a good job.
Right. I think it's very important to give ourselves grace, especially with the year that we've all had to endure. So, I think
for real.
everyone can take a lesson out of that. And now my final question for you is, if you could leave the listeners/viewers with one thing to remember about you, what would it be and why?
One thing about Josh Waters. Oh my goodness. He told you to love yourself. And he believes that God is love, the Most High is love, love is unconditional acceptance. And if you really a fan of me, you gotta first be a fan of yourself, man. Yeah, wow. That's what I would tell him.
I love that. I love the self-empowerment that we just spread through this conversation. I just want to thank you so much for chatting with me. I really appreciate it. This was a great interview. When I end this live, the interview should, upload right to IG in case anybody missed it. Instagram be tripping sometimes, though, but it is recorded on the audio end and will be uploaded to our Apple Podcasts, Spotify.
Shout out.
And,
that's dope.
All the platforms. So let everyone know where they can find you, though.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Josh Waters Music. If you're streaming music on your phone, go to whatever platform you have and search Josh Waters, and I have plenty there for you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Take care.
Yes, ma'am. Take care, love. Respect.
All righty. And that wraps up our interview with Josh. I was definitely, feeling, I love, how he mentioned just it's Instagram freezing for me. I just love how he mentioned his relationship with God and just, how he was vulnerable when it came to some of his music. Because I think that's what really, sets an artist apart and allows for fans to connect with them. So shout out to Josh. And yeah. But as y'all know, I do this New at Night segment every night. And I just want to say that I've been really getting a lot of music to my email. And I really do appreciate y'all. And of course, I'm going to play y'all a track for y'all tonight. And I just want to say, keep submitting the music. I see you. I hear you. I'm listening to you. So this track is actually by this dude. He's from New York. His name is Kaffer Myers. I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. And the song is called True to Self. It's a dope track. The music video is also on YouTube, and it's pretty cool as well. So make sure y'all check that out. And I will see y'all next week, same time, same place. And next week is going to be a big episode because it's going to be the night before my birthday. You know the vibes, big Sag energy. Yes, sir. So thank y'all so much and see y'all next week.
I was hopeless. I was down. Yeah, just love me for me. It's like I find it crazy how people just always want you to change for their benefits. They try to change you instead of accepting you for who you are, you know what I mean? Yeah. Look. Can I live and keep it completely honest? But is it really hard for these people to keep a promise? Problem is, too many people ain't been true to theyself, faking who they not, just something just to prove to theyself. I lost trust in all my friends, but y'all don't know how that felt. Ones around the way ain't find a way, now asking for help. The struggle almost pulled me down, on streets almost pulled me in. My composure kept me closer to the truth that's from within. Being in an everyday struggle like academics, more graveyard and school sites, and I resent it. I'm proud to say my state of mind don't got them type of limits. I gotta ask, is it heaven dying or is hell living? Only fools think clothes cover right what they missing. They tell me what I should do like they was in my position. Damn. Still sharp and still, but still they hold the still. I see the youth ain't got no guidance, just guns and pills. I like my enemies cause they stab for the chest. They don't stab in the back, Lord, I pray for the best. Rid me of the negatives, I'll handle the rest. What's worse, they want me to change to fit in with the rest. I like my enemies cause they stab for the chest. They don't stab in the back, Lord, I pray for the best. Rid me of the negatives, I'll handle the rest. What's worse, they want me to change and fit in with the rest, yeah. Love me for me and who I am. They saying that I can, but I'm knowing that I can. Love me for me and what I'm not. They want me to change, they want me to stop. Just love me for me, yeah. Just love me for me, yeah. Love me for me and what I'm not. They want me to change and they want me to stop. I learned never tell them your biz cause they use that against you. Question: if they plotting on you, dog, is they plotting with you? How many times people said they was, but ain't official? I see them losing selves, chasing the status symbol. But knew I had a bigger purpose ever since I was little. And ever since I moved a little different than all of my peers. Cause that's why I feel, dog, that I just don't fit in here. Man, I'm just making it clear, opinions never made me neglect my beliefs and attitude and the things that I rep. I inspire, they don't wanna show support or respect. That's just fuel to make it bigger than what they expect. I'ma shine on the ones that's trying to dim the effect. I'ma change just like, man, I was calling collect. It's like I'm walking with a blindfold and seeing with my eyes closed. Where I'm going, man, that's something that only God knows. They feel my words, it's like it's railroad. The industry is built off lies, ain't hard to tell though. But I ain't and I never will. I'm here, so love me for me or just lead the field. Yeah, just like me for me. I ain't going to change to the person that y'all really want me to be. I made a promise to myself and that was no matter what. I stayed true to myself, yeah. I like my enemies cause they stab for the chest. They don't stab in the back, Lord, I pray for the best. Rid me of the negatives, I'll handle the rest. We still, yeah, check me. I like.
With one tap, you're in. Only on Tap In Radio.